All right. Hey, good morning, traders, and welcome to the first time ever. We're trying something new here called Crowdsource Plus. We're going to use a new approach and try to find top 5 great trades using a combination of your inputs, expert panel analysis, and then ultimately your vote. So it's going to be exciting and very much looking forward to it. And just to make it more exciting, when I tried to log into Zoom and start this webinar earlier, a few minutes ago, Zoom wouldn't work. It was having an outage, and it wasn't until the last minute that I could get in. So that rattled me just a little bit, but I've recovered, and we're going to kick this thing off. So before we get started, a quick disclaimer. Hey, we're traders. We're not financial advisors. You're going to hear opinions from 4 panelists, including me. But we're not giving financial advice. All trading and investing involves risk, and risk control has to be used at all times. Here's the process we're going to use, just to give a visual for it. So you've submitted your candidates, the trades that you are interested in, and what we're going to do is we're going to analyze as many of those as possible. But we're going to start with the ones that got the most requests. We'll just Pareto those, and then I was a little surprised. I expected to have more duplicates, but you guys came up with lots of interesting ideas, and we got like 50 candidates. So we're gonna have to rock and roll here. We're gonna go pretty fast once we get into the analysis. I think we got a good method for scoring them. At the end, we will show you a scorecard. We will sort it based on the highest scores, and then we'll ask you to vote on those. So that's kind of how we're gonna do it. So we got your candidates. We're going to walk through them. The panelists are also going to add their top. Each of us are bringing in our top #1 trade candidate for the moment. We'll put those on the list. Then we're going to walk through, look at the charts, offer analysis, score them on a scorecard, and at the end, you're going to vote. So that's how things going to work. And here is the actual word cloud of the trades that you guys submitted. Some of them were the obvious candidates: Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Costco, Tesla, Nvidia, and Boeing. They came to the top, but there's a bunch of other ones. And again, we came up with a list of 50, and here's what it looks like, sorted this way. And you can see I've got some of these in red, and I'm going to delete these, and I'll tell you why. So I took all the candidates, and I loaded them into TradeStation's radar screen. And so you can see the ones I've got highlighted here. In this radar screen, I'm showing the current price and the average volume, 10-day average volume. And so, for our purposes, trading things that are very thinly traded, low volume, it can be a little dangerous. And also, if there's anything that's a penny stocks, we got one here that is both low volume and a penny stock. It's less than $1. So I'm going to eliminate those. Just going to delete them and not do analysis on those. And if those are your symbols, I hope that's not too disappointing for you. Maybe that you found some new information, you weren't aware that those were in fact thinly traded, maybe not great trading candidates. So I'm going to take them off my list here. And again, I hope that criteria makes sense to you. Anything that is a penny stock, there's a way to trade penny stocks. It's different. So I've eliminated those. Now I'm going to do a quick sort. So we've already got it in order here. Okay, now I'm going to clear this out. And this way I'll have them on my radar screen in priority order. Go ahead and paste these back in to my radar screen, and now I can link right off to charts here in priority order. All righty. So in terms of the process we're going to use, I'll walk you through that. So our initial criteria for the trades, like we just applied, was that there's adequate liquidity, and I define that as trading on average more than 500,000 shares a day, 500,000 shares a day. and that there's sufficient chart history for analysis. So if something IPO'd a month ago, there's just not going to be enough history there to really do any kind of analysis. Sergio is saying, what happened to Ford? We took the top 50, Sergio. So even if you submitted somebody you don't see them on the list, we can't analyze 100 charts here in a session. So the ones that got the most submissions made it to the top, and we took the top 50. And I think 50 is enough. And we knocked 5 of those off real quick. So we'll do 45. I think out of that list, you'll find some great trade candidates. All right. And, if you want your particular symbol analyzed, you always have the regular trading room. Okay. So that's our initial criteria. We just applied that. And we're going to, the analysis tools we're going to use are Dow theory, Ichimoku cloud, a very simple approach to Elliott wave, just looking, are we in an impulsive or corrective wave? We use some moving averages. We identify support resistance zones. And then each panelist has their own nuance, maybe some other indicators or techniques or area focused. And we're looking for swing trades with a 1 to 4 week duration. These are not investments that we're going to hold long term. It's not day trading. It really is. So that's just the perspective we're going to be looking at. As a good swing trade that's going to last 1 to 4 weeks and have a high probability. Okay, we do have a scorecard. And as we look at each trade, I'm going to offer analysis and commentary as well as the other panelists. Eva is going to be keeping track on a scorecard. And then at the end, we will sort it based on the top scores. And let me show you what the scorecard looks like. I'll pull it up here real quick. Give me just a moment. But here's what it looks like. We're going to be scoring. We're going to put the symbol in, the direction, long or short. Everything has sufficient liquidity, so that's going to be yes on all of them, right? Clarity is just how clear is the chart, right? Is there an obvious impulsive or corrective move, or is it chaotic? The trend, whether it's a good trend just starting and has good potential, or whether it's really mature and maybe too late to get in. If there's any obstacles like earnings coming up in a few days, or if there's a gap or a key support or resistance area that we're moving into, we're going to look at the reward to risk, the potential, do we have enough profit in there versus the risk? And then each of the panelists is just going to give their score 1 to 5. We'll average that, and we're going to total the score. We'll make any notes, what wave count are we in, anything to watch out for. And then we'll come up with a total score. And Eva's going to be keeping track of that as we go through the charts. And again, we'll show that scorecard and then ask you to vote on the ones you like the most based on the analysis and the panelist comments and the total score. So with that, before we jump in, let me introduce your panelists. And first up, you guys, most of you know Eva. She's been with Follow Me Trades for several years now. She co-hosts the live trading room, and she's an expert chart analyst and trader. But you want to just say a quick hello, Eva?
Hi, everyone in the room. Looking forward to today, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And we have Grayson is joining us. Grayson went through the Master Trader training several years ago, and she has applied it with great skill. She's getting great results in her trading. She has co-hosted the trading room occasionally, and she offers really, really good trading ideas. She's an awesome trader and a really nice lady. And Grayson, you want to just say hello?
Hi, thanks, Dean. Yeah, somehow I feel like I'm on a softball team and I'm all nervous. It's fun to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, once we get into it, once you start looking at charts, right, you'll be in the groove.
Okay.
Because you're good at it. And Grayson is also known, her nickname is the White Lion. You may see that in the forum or other places. And then Shiv also went through my training several years ago. He has, taken it, applied it, is getting great results in his trading. He's applied, just like Grayson and Eva, applied their own nuance, some other indicators, maybe some different research. But the core ideas he's using. And he also has co-hosted the trading room on occasion. He jumps in with commentary once in a while. and offers really, really great trade ideas as well. And he's very active in our Real Traders Club forum. So Shiv, glad you're here. You want to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Thanks. I feel very honored to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with, because it's certainly interesting times in the market.
Yeah, it is not. It's a trader's market. Last summer or something, it was just moving really, really slow, kind of sideways. It was hard, right? But it's moving now. And Key, nice comment. Thank you. He said all 4 traders you can believe in. Well, I sure believe in the others, and I appreciate your confidence. All right, that's enough setup, man. Let's look at some charts. And we're going to go really fast. So I'm going to bring the chart up. I'm going to offer my analysis real quick. I'm going to ask the panelists to provide their score, and if they have any other kind of insights or observations on the chart. You guys ready? Ready to
Yes, let's go for it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I
look at
hope
some
I can
charts.
keep up.
Yeah, so Eva's got the tough job because she's got to record the scores here. And I'm going to put my scorecard to the side so I remember the columns and categories I have to deal with here. All right. And here's our list. What I've done, I've got this link to my chart, so I'm going to put it off to the side here. And I'm going to bring up my chart where we're going to actually display the trades. And here it is. And then the first one up is Amazon. Okay, so we know the liquidity on all these is good because we've already pre-screened that. The first thing I'm going to check on each of these is an earnings date, and just make sure we're not going to trade right into earnings. May 5th, so that's a 5, right? There's no issues with the earnings.
Dean, what does that fall under? I'm sorry.
It's going to be I'm sorry, that's not a discrete column, so it's no issue.
Okay, so liquidity, kind of, you're saying?
No, liquidity is yes, and now we're going to look at. So here's the chart for Amazon, and of course Amazon ran up big time. If we zoom out, we can see there was a big run up before. They had a big pop yesterday. They're up today. They announced a 20-for-1 stock split. That doesn't really change the fundamentals of the company. It makes it easier for others to participate. But right now it's in a corrective trend, low, lower, high, low. And if we do a retracement from the bottom here, we can see it's already in the retracement zone. In fact, it may be getting ready to, end its retracement and head up higher again. Big day yesterday, it's up today. But I think the clarity of that trend is, because we're not sure if it's going to start up there, I'd give the clarity of the trend a 4. Obstacles, we got the top of the cloud, the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average above us, all as potential obstacles. So the obstacles is an inverse score. If there's none, that's a 5. If there are some, it's a 1. I think we got a 2 for obstacles.
So Dean, did you rate the trend?
Yeah, the trend is a 4. I think that's reasonably clear.
Okay, I thought clarity was 4. Sorry, I didn't hear trend. This first day, we're getting this down.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
Yeah, I'd want to see it close above the 50 and the cloud, which are right at the same point. So about, 3,100-ish. And then I think, so this is, for me, it would be like a wait list. But once it clears 3,100, man, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. It's if you look at like the PE to growth ratio and some of the other fundamental indicators, it's relatively low priced actually.
So are you willing to give your rating before the risk?
Let's get the reward to risk, and the reward to risk on this, if it triggers, that's the caveat, is a 5. I mean, it's got a huge target up here above 4,000.
So you're looking at this as a long?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and again, we'll get the kinks worked out and get this smooth.
Okay.
Yeah, so I give it an overall 3 because it's just not ready yet, right? Eva, what's your overall score on Amazon Long?
I give it a 2 because the last low was a new low, so I'm not convinced it's ready to start the upward movement.
Yeah, that makes sense. Shiv, what's your overall?
Yeah, I think, what's the scoring again?
1 low, 5 high.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3. Like, it's a wait and see.
Okay.
And Grayson, your overall.
I'd give it a 2 on the weekly. It's still got room to go to the 200, and I like a sale.
She looks for
So-
bargains.
I like a bargain.
All right. We got our scores on Amazon. Now we'll go to Microsoft. All right. So Microsoft, you can see I've already, when we've analyzed this one before, had a big
Dean, you have to start over again with Microsoft.
wave 3. It's in wave 4 now.
Dean, we can't hear you.
It is still heading down today.
All right. All right.
Changing
Dean?
internet connection. Am I
Okay.
good? Yeah.
Now you are. You got to start Microsoft over because you were too cryptic.
Sorry about that. When I was having trouble with logging into Zoom, I tried a different connection, but and that's the slower one. Okay, I'm good now.
Okay.
All right, Microsoft. Big wave 3 up. It's in wave 4 correction to the downside right now. It's still got room to go down into the correction zone. So this is a short trade on Microsoft. Clarity of the trend, that's a 5. It's super clear. The trend, I'll give it a 3 because it's pretty deep into the correction. So there's some left, but not a great amount. Let's check earnings date on it. April 26th. In terms of obstacles, it's got these 2 prior lows. So that's a pretty strong support area. So I'm going to give the obstacles, it's an inverse score. So I'm going to give it a 2 because it does have obstacles. And the reward to risk, if we were to get in it, we would put our stop here. We would enter here, current price, and we would have a target here. So reward to risk on it is a 4. And I give it an overall score of 2 because that's really strong support. So I'm not going to take it into that hard floor. What do you think, Eva?
I kind of like it. I'm giving it a 4.
Okay. Shiv?
It looks to me like Microsoft has made a floor here. And I mean, they smashed earnings. They're making tons of money. I just see, like, when I look at this, I'm like waiting for wave 5. So I would, this again would be a watch list to have it. If it can retake the 50 or 200, but I'd be looking for a long on this.
So if
So
we're,
what's your score?
Yeah, I don't see it going much lower. It's already found support twice there.
So is a short 1, 2?
Yeah, the short's 1. Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't short. I would not short Microsoft.
it's like starting-
if you saw their earnings, like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. And, Randy's asking and Shiv say, hey, looking at a long, and it could be a long, but we're a long ways from proving it. We got to turn this trend and we have not yet. So
Yeah, right now it's if you'd taken it short earlier, you would have made money on it. But I think the short is almost done. I mean, could go a little lower, but it's almost done.
all right. And Grayson, Microsoft short, what's your score?
I'd give it a 4. I do think it has a little bit more room to go to the bottom. I don't like the way it made that strong bar and then broke down again. And I think on the weekly chart, you know, when I look ahead, it is reaching into the cloud, and the bottom of the cloud is around 252. So I think it has a little more room to go to the bottom. And I would just keep a tighter stop. And I like it for short.
Okay, we got a diversity of opinion, and that is good. You guys hear the commentary, and at the end, you're going to vote on what you think of that. All right, we've completed Microsoft and now Apple. All right. You know, bigger picture on Apple, it is, you know, it has been in an uptrend. It started a correction with a low, lower high, low, lower high. So that's the definition of a downtrend. The cloud turned red, momentum turned red. It's looking for a new low. Now it did find support right at this 200-day moving average. So that's a warning for shorting Apple. Right? You know, in terms of long or short, we're just, hey, what's the current trend? And that's just an objective, you know, has nothing to do with how good the company is or any of that, right? What's the trend by definition? And the current trend is a correction by definition to the downside. And earnings, just going to check because we just don't want to be surprised.
And it respects that 200. Look at it. There's 5 spots where it's hit the 200 and bounced right off of it.
Yeah, if you
So,
count 1, 2, 3, you know, 4 back here.
yeah, I
There's-
I counted that one at the bottom. It broke it slightly, but
Yeah.
still bounced.
Earnings April 28th, so that's not a barrier for us. So in terms of the score on this one, and I, you know, because it's in a downturn by definition, I would not try to take Apple long at this time. You have to wait for that turn, and there should be another move up, but not yet. And again, we're looking at a 1 to 4 week time frame. So it's in a downtrend. And so in terms of analyzing Apple for a short, the clarity, it's super clear, right? So that's a 5, right? We see exactly what's going on here. The trend, the downtrend here is, it's got a ways to go into this correction zone. So I would give that a 4. Obstacles, it gets a 1, right? It's got absolute obstacle at the 200-day moving average. And reward to risk, you know, it's a 3. Because we don't know where the stop's going. It's got to break through here, and then we don't know where the stop's going to be. So overall, I'd give it a 2 because I ain't shorting it into that. If it breaks through, we may still have time. But overall, for me, is 2 for a short on Apple. Eva,
If it breaks through, I like it. So a 3.
okay. Shiv,
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 1. I think unless it breaks through the 200, which and it has respected that 200 like for a long time. And with the new products that they've announced and stuff, I just don't see it going much lower. So yeah, I wouldn't short Apple.
okay. Grayson,
Yeah, I give that a 2 right now. Same as everyone else. I'd want to see it break the 200. I might think about it with a really tight stop above the 200.
all right. We are pretty much in agreement on that one, where we weren't on the other one. Okay, now this is a good example because I said Apple was in a downtrend, Microsoft was in a downtrend by definition. This is Costco. It had a correction. Now it is turned, right? We have evidence of an uptrend. It's gone green, momentum's green, it's putting in high. So Costco at this point is a long. And it had a, you know, okay correction, okay 4, a little shallow, but met the rules. And in terms of an extension into a target zone, I mean, it's massive. Got a little consolidation going on here. So that is what we would call an obstacle. It's got a high, higher low, not a super clear high. So it's really got to break through here. And let's just look at the earnings date. Again, you don't want to be surprised, and not everybody's on the same cycle here. June 2, so that's no obstacle at all. Okay. All right. So look, clarity of the trend, I'll give it a 4. I mean, the move up was good, the move down was good, where we're going now. So I'll give that a 4. The trend, I'll give it a 3 because it hasn't been fully proven, right? We got a high, higher low. We don't really have a new high. So that uptrend is not fully proven. Obstacles is a 2. We got a pretty good resistance level here. If it busts through, reward to risk on this is high, 4. But because of this, I give it overall, I'm not taking it long until it gets through here. So I'll give it a 2 overall for a long on Costco.
Okay, I'm giving it a 4 because there was a gap. If people know me, I look at gaps a lot, and has closed the gap. So I think it's going to find the momentum to the upside now. So 4.
All right. Shiv.
5. I like Costco for a long, yes.
So that looking for a new high doesn't bother you yet, right? You're thinking it's going.
No, people are lining up for the gas because it's still cheap. So.
And while you're there, you might as well get your toilet paper and
Exactly. And Charlie Munger, who's, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, he's on the board of Costco, and he made some very favorable comments the other day about it as well. So I just don't see them. I mean, they're one of the few retailers that have stood up to Amazon quite nicely. So I see them continuing to do that.
yeah.
So
And
I agree with.
Costco's a great company. They're not going anywhere. But remember, our focus is, 1 to 4 weeks, right? Costco is probably a great long-term investment to hold, but a swing trade over the next 1 to 4 weeks is our scoring and focus.
And I also like Costco because it's been on my short list for many of the reasons why Shiv has said. I've been keeping a close eye for a good entry.
All right, Grayson, White Lion, what do you think about long on Costco?
Yeah, I like it for a long, but I too would want to see it break out of that consolidation, because those are some big bars there, a lot of buying and selling, and your momentum isn't growing. I'd want to see that momentum picking up and with a bar to the upside.
I'm with you.
So I give you, I give it about a 3, just because the market's been so whippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Nvidia. All right, we've obviously analyzed this one to death, and it always shows up on lists for popular trading stock. So Nvidia, big picture, huge run up. It had the correction, and interesting, it looks very similar to I think it was Microsoft. So technically still in a downtrend. It has not turned up. We don't have high, higher, low. We have red cloud, red momentum, but boy, look at this floor, right? It's already in the correction zone, which is these 2 blue lines. So the clarity is a 4. I mean, it's super clear. The trend is a 1 because the current downtrend is too far. It's already corrected too deep. Obstacles are a 1 because it's got a huge obstacle, and the reward to risk is a 1 because there's just not enough meat left on that bone. So I give that an overall 1 for an Nvidia short.
I'm a 1 also.
1 also.
Yep. 1 also.
This is a wait list for it to go long on it.
That's right. And that may be frustrating for some people going, why aren't you just talking about a long, right? Because it's not there yet. If it does, next time we do this, right? If we get a high, higher,
Yeah, it has to break the trend.
gotta
The
break the
trend
trend.
is currently down. So yeah.
There we go. And that's, you got to trade reality, right? Nobody wants that one. Here comes Boeing.
Shiv said what I thought. Ugh.
All right. So, pandemic crush back here. And since then it has meandered. It is in a meandering, sloping downtrend. So that, it's in a downtrend and it has not turned, right? Same rule applies. It's in a downtrend because we got lows, low, lower high, low, lower high, low, lower high, red cloud, red momentum. going down. Someday it'll go up, but not yet. But is this an impulsive move? Is this a corrective move? It's neither. It's a sloping downtrend that's very mature. So in terms of clarity about, we like to see an impulsive move, a correction, a carry on, right, like I've seen on the other one. So the clarity on this one, yeah, we know what trend it's in. So the clarity, yeah, about a 3. The trend, like a 2. Obstacles. Well, the obstacle is we don't know where it's at, what it's going to do next. So that's a 1 because it's got huge. I'm not trading this yet. Reward to risk is a 1 because we have no way to establish a target on this trade. So I just don't like it. I'm a 1 overall.
It reversed off the gap on the left-hand side with the current movement up. So I give it a 1 because that also might have been enough to be a wave 5. So it could be starting a complex correction and a new wave count soon.
Yeah, I'm a 1. It's channeling downward, and the 50 and the 200 for a long 50 and the 200 are resistance right now.
And look how many times, right? Boing, 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 boing.
Yes,
Right.
it's dropped below the 50 now. So for the first time in the last few days. So that is worrisome even more for a long.
Grayson.
I'm going to break the trend. I like that it broke that bottom support and it's coming up to test it again. If you draw a trend line there. Yeah. And when you look at it on the weekly, it does look like a wave 5 down. And I would say it a target like around 143.
Okay.
And so I give it, I'd want to see it turn. And I'd give it a 3. I'd probably give it a 4 if it turns.
Okay. But at this moment, it's a 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the seasonality shows 160 as a possible in the near future target. So
Tesla, we can't do a webinar without looking at Tesla. So it had a 3 up, 4 down, 5 up, perfect wave 5 presentation. And then it's in a complex correction, which is an ABC, which is now finishing. This thing played out exactly according to, very, very simple Elliott wave rules. And now after the complex correction, typically what happens is a new trend. And right now we have absolutely no evidence of which way that trend would be. It's technically in a downtrend, low, lower, high, low, lower, high, low, lower, high, and low, bounced off to 200, below the 50, clouds red, momentum's red. Just see this down slope. It's down today, but also you see this kind of a wedge formation right here that it's been in, over the last couple of weeks, right? Typically when it breaks out of that, that's where it's going. And so we just have no idea what the new trend is going to be. So I give the clarity a 2. And I give obstacles a 2. And I give reward to risk a 2. And I give it overall a 2 because we just don't know where it's going from here. We will pretty soon, but not now.
I'm in agreement there too, for the very same reasons you said.
yeah, I'll give it a 1. We need the breakout. So nothing in the short term.
Yeah, I'd give it a 2 right now, but I definitely put that on a watch list. I like the way it's always moved off the 200, and it does seem to have some symmetry there with those drops. So, it tends to drop and then kind of swoop up again.
All right. Hey, we're getting smooth now. We're getting through this. All right, Adobe. Well, the trend is clear. So it had a big 3 up. It's currently in a correction, and that looks like it's pretty well in the zone. So, the target zone is these blue lines. It absolutely made it. You can see it put in this low, probably an earnings announcement here, high. So far, a higher low, hasn't gone lower. So the next move is probably going to be to the upside, but we're nowhere near that. We got to take out this high. So the current downtrend by definition, the current trend by definition is down. There's no way I'm going to short it at this point, this deep into the correction.
Are you looking at the direction short or long? Sorry, because you're kind of
I
going
mean, it's
back
got to
and
be
forth.
short because it's down by definition. It's not
Okay.
turned up.
All
So
right.
short, you know, there may be a long in the future, but it's in the future.
Okay.
1 to 4 weeks. And so direction short, the clarity is 4. The trend is a 1 because it's almost over. Obstacles, you know, it doesn't, you know, if it were to go short, yeah, there's an obstacle set floor, right? So obstacle 1, right? There's a huge obstacle. The reward to risk, if you were to go into it, is a 1 because there's no meat left on that bone. So I'm overall a 1. I ain't doing it. Not shorting it, and it's nowhere near ready for a long, you know, maybe in a few weeks or a month.
Agreement 1.
1.
1.
All right. Hopefully, for the participants, you guys got, you know, kind of the flow here, what we're looking at. And, you know, we have some overlap and some agreement. We have some disagreements, and that's okay. That is healthy. Roku. We call this you know, this is Twin Peaks, right? Looks like a big mountain. So the current trend, the current impulsive move is down. This is really the only one relevant for analysis because that's a retracement too deep to be away from that move up. So the next move we expect is going to be up, but we don't have evidence of it. You know, it's still in the downtrend. It did, boom, hit this bottom, high, hit that bottom again. So we would be watching this for a long, but it's not ready yet. And that could be a really good long, you know, from this floor of, you know, 108, hard to say, up, you know, up over 250 bucks into this zone, but not yet. And we did have this gap down. That's a problem. We couldn't get through it. So I would not short it and I would not go long. I wouldn't trade it, period. It's funny, this clarity, I may have to rethink that score because even if it's super clear, clarity, you know, give it a 4. I mean, it's super clear what's going on here. The trend is a 1 because it's extremely mature and ending, and obstacles is a 1 because it's got a huge obstacle at this floor because we're talking about a short, and reward to risk is 1. So my overall is a 1.
1.
1.
1. We sound like a
We're
singing
picking up
group.
some speed. 1, 1, 1.
1.
And that's, you know, when we do this again in 2 weeks or a month, if we do, this could be a good long, and we'll look at it, you know, hopefully it'll come up again. RTX. Here's a new one, Raytheon. Okay, I've heard of Raytheon. All right. So it's in an uptrend. Now the big question here was, with 3, was this enough for a 4? And are we in a 5 bullish move? And the answer is yeah. We had an ABC, we had a momentum change. Yeah. So we're in 5. Okay. And it hit the target zone into these green lines. Clear trend, up, high, higher, low, high, higher, low. Back, the cloud provided really nice, clear support for that. 50 crossing over the 200. We got positive momentum growing. All right, so the big question on this trade is going to be reward or risk. You would be entering here, current price. Stop's going to be at that pivot, and the target's going to be right in the middle of this zone there. So, you know, this is twice, 2 or 3 times the size of this. So we got reward to risk. Let's check earnings. Date. RTX. April 26th. So we okay there. That's actually a decent long. You know, Raytheon huge, kind of defense conglomerate with some other technology stuff, industrial stuff. All right, clarity of this trend, it's a 5. Couldn't be clearer. It's a super classic deal. So 5. The trend, let's give it a 3 because it did hit the target already, but it could go up into it. Obstacles, the prior high potentially, but every target has to go through prior highs, and it's done a good job of going through them every time. So obstacles, I'll give it a 4. Reward to risk, 4, because it's about a 3 to 1. So overall in the trade, yeah, I think it's about a 4 for a long.
That's funny. I was going to give it a 4 too. So we're starting to be consistent here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 as well, because I think the Raytheon, being a defense contractor, is it's a hot commodity given what's been going on. So sadly.
Yeah, I also like that for a long. I like the way it made that strong move up and then it pulled back and held, and now it's heading up again. So I think it, has the potential to keep going.
So what's your school rating?
4.
4. Okay.
Taiwan Semiconductor. All right, this one's a little tough. 3, correction, and then it went absolutely sideways for a year. Went on to a new high, and now it's correcting. So trying to apply a wave count to that. I mean, you can't count this as 4 because this went deeper. You could call this the current impulsive move, and I think that's the right thing to do. So we're in a currently just in a I think that you could call that a 5. Now we're in the ABC. That actually is the right analysis. 3, all 4, 5. Now we're in an ABC correction. Right. It's clearly going down. It gapped down here. It's below everything. Everything's negative. We haven't crossed the 50 under the 200 yet. It's hard to say where it's going from here. And hopefully, for participants, if you're new to us, you were starting to see a pattern of what we're looking for, right? It's in a downtrend. It's been in a downtrend. It's got strong momentum, but I have no idea where to put a target because this is a complex correction or a new trend. So with that, it just lacks clarity for me, given the analysis techniques that I use. So it is a short because it's in a downtrend. The clarity, it's a 1. I have no idea what's going on. The trend, this isn't an extensive downtrend. So the trend, give it a score of 3. Obstacles in terms of upcoming areas. The 200 crossing, you can see that hasn't been strong. So that could be the 50 crossing the 200. So that is an obstacle. There's no real key gaps or pivot points, but I still think that is an obstacle. So 2, and reward to risk is a 1 because I have no idea where to put a target.
Your overall rating, Dean?
1.
Mine's a 1. I don't like this trade.
Yeah, 1. We're waiting to see what happens.
I agree, a 1.
All right. And for the participants, we're looking at a lot of symbols. If your symbol came up and we dissed it, don't take it personally. And quite often, it's hard to find great trades. That's why we start with a big list. Here comes Marathon Digital. So that was clear, 3, 4, 5. It's in a complex correction. It is channeling. It's in that same kind of wedge or banner. Those are the same things right here. Till it breaks, we don't know what it's going to do. So the clarity on this is a 2. The trend is a 2. Obstacles, a 2. Reward to risk is a 1. My overall, it's a 1. I'm not trading it till it breaks. And it could go either way. And it could
So
be.
are you calling it a short or a long? Or direction?
It's
Channeling.
It's channeling.
I know,
mean,
so I don't know how to put that on the chart.
It's a downtrend and it has not proven an uptrend, so we got to call it down. So sure.
Okay. Sorry, just need.
It
to
doesn't
clarify
matter
that.
because we're not not trading it. I'm not.
So there's some things I do like about it, that it has a higher low. It just needs a higher high and break through the 50 and maybe the prior high at 29.99, but it's not ready. It's along those lines. It needs to break out of the channel. So I'm going to give it a 2 because it has potential, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1, but in the interest of full disclosure, I do own 100 shares, but that's a long-term holding.
Grayson?
Yeah, I'd like to see it come above the 50, but it's also, you know, if you're gonna give it a try, it's not bad because you can keep your stop pretty tight, you know, so you're really counting on that move to the upside. And it's held that support for, you know, even back in April. So I'd be looking for this to go long.
Yeah, I'm selling covered calls against it.
And I'd give it, you know, for the score right now, I'd give it, you know, a 2, and I'd wait for that break.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a reality and time check. We got the participants here. We're at 7:47 Pacific, which would be 10:47 Eastern. We've analyzed 10 symbols. We've got quite a few to go, and we can speed up a little bit. But you guys good to keep going? Are we losing you, or is this interesting? Should we just press on?
Sure, yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, we can speed it up, I think. And we're now, I think, got the format, and things are starting to speed up, but I can't believe we've only done 10
Yeah, 12.
or 12.
Everyone loves it. They want us to keep going. I'm seeing all good reviews. So let's start. Let's try to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll just shout out a number.
XME, which is the Spiders Materials and Mining, which includes gold and commodities. Austrian 345. I guarantee you it is already at the target. So a nice trade, but it's over. And so the clarity here is actually really high. It's a 4. The trend is a 1 because it's mature and it's over, and the obstacles are a 1 because the same thing. So is a reward to risk, and I'm an overall 1. Awesome symbol, awesome trend. It's just way too late. You missed it.
Okay, Dean, it went so fast because I had the wrong symbol for some reason. I had XME, but okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't have XME, I had TME, so I had to go back and double check. Okay, can you just quickly clarity?
Clarity is a 4.
Okay,
Trend is a 1. Obstacle is a 1. Reward to risk is a 1. Overall is a 1.
I'm a 1.
1.
1.
Yeah. And that's not a diss. That's an awesome trend. It's just we missed it. It's too late. And we were in gold, so we didn't really miss the whole thing. All right. The big trend was, you know, the impulsive move was down. It's in a correction, and that correction is nearly over. You can see we made it into the correction zone. Next move is expected to be down. You can see the cloud narrowing, momentum coming out. It's a lower high. That tells us it's getting ready, but it's not there yet. We got the 50 as a potential support, and that downtrend is not proven. In fact, according to my rules, we got to talk about a long, right? Because the downtrend's not proven. So it's a long, right? And it's about over. So the clarity is a 4, super clear what's going on. The trend is a 1 because it's over. The obstacles are a 1 because it's over, and the reward to risk is a 1, and so is my overall.
1.
1.
1.
Okay.
Dog Z.
Dog Z.
Don't know what the company is. It's interesting. It did pass our liquidity and price. It's a lower price, $4. All right. Obviously, some big news there changed everything. Huge trend up. More than doubled. Actually, for $2, it went up 4x. Why didn't you ask us back here? We would have taken that. All right, something changed. And what's going on now? This becomes the impulsive move. That's the correction. it actually low. We don't know what the trend is currently. This is chaos. So, I mean, given that well, the cloud's red, but the momentum's green, it's going to get a 1 across the board. So it doesn't matter whether that's short or long. Put it.
I'm putting it long because it is heading up and it has a
It is.
higher high.
Yeah, it did take out that. Okay, so put it long, but then everything is 1, including my overall. Interesting, but I'm not trading this at this point. It's super.
I'm a 2 because I think it could have some potential.
Yeah, 2. It's a Chinese company that manufactures pet like leashes and stuff. I
Oh,
looked them up.
Great. Grayson,
Yeah, give that a 2.
PD, which is pager duty. Okay, interesting. Downtrend. And that is a wave 5 down. It's pretty messy. Well, look at that. Went up too high. So it's currently in the impulsive move. Not going to spend too much time on it. So this is currently the impulsive move down. It's still going on. It's running out of steam. And it's approaching the prior support area. So downtrend, it would be a short trade. The clarity, it's pretty clear for the trend is a 1 because it's almost over. Obstacle is a 1. We got support coming up, and reward to risk is a 1, and my overall is a 1.
1.
1.
1.
All right. We're speeding up.
Toronto Dominion BK. If I remember, that's some kind of commodity.
It's a
or
Canadian bank. They at one time
Oh.
owned TD Ameritrade. And then they sold that to Schwab. But they have more than 50% of their operations in the US. They bought quite a few regional banks, especially in the Eastern United States. They should benefit from higher interest rates being a bank. And they pay, I think it's a 3.25% dividend. So this is, this is a long-term holding for me.
Currently a short because it has turned big wave 3 up. We do have low, lower, high, low, lower, high, red cloud, red momentum, and it's under the cloud. So it's a short. And so the clarity on that is really good. It's a 4. I wouldn't enter it now. I'd wait for the reversal because right now the stop is going to be up here. If you were to enter it here, a target, you got to respect that 200. So the reward to risk is a little thin. So I said clarity 4, trend is a 4 because it has room to go to the ultimate thing. Obstacles is a 2 because we got the 200 pretty close. We got this pivot. Reward to risk is a 3. Now make that a 2. Reward to risk is a 2. It's pretty thin. Overall 2. I'm not going to short it here. I'd have to wait for it to break to 200 because it respects that. And by then you're not going to have any. So I'm probably not going to be watching Dominion.
2. For the
1.
same reasons. Okay.
Yeah, 1. I wouldn't short it.
Right. I'd give it a 2. I think it's got room to go down, but it's going to hit that 200.
DACO, New Energy Corp, DQ.
Surprisingly, not Dairy Queen.
Yeah. All right. So it's actually in an uptrend. We had, so this is actually interesting. Here's the move down. We have a high, higher low, new high, pretty small. We have momentum turning, clouds green. We're above the cloud, we're above the 50. It's having a bad day, down 9%. But so if it finds support here at the 50, I wouldn't take it now. I'd let it get support and then head up again. It's obviously fairly volatile. But in terms of the reward to risk on this, we have to put the stop at the current. Look at how hard that floor is, man. 3 times or more. That would have to be our stop. We could enter here. And we got a target up in the middle of the correction zone, which coincides with this pivot. So that's a huge reward to risk if it turns. Right? That'd be worth waiting in Monday, Tuesday, see if it turns. But it's kind of an interesting and exciting looking trade. You know, today's downturn is worrisome. I would make sure we found support. But the clarity on that is 4. The trend, you know, it's a 3 because this was it was a high, higher, low, new high, but it was weak. It wasn't a big one. It's a little weak. Obstacles, the 200 is an obstacle, so we'll give that a 3. Reward to risk is a 5. Overall, I'm going to give it a 4, and there's just a qualifier. It's got to turn. I'm not going to take it in free fall.
So
overall-
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 1 because if I had it on the watch list, it would have stopped out today.
I'll give it a 3. Yeah, I'm concerned about that 200.
Yeah, I like this trade, but a little bit longer. I think because it's coming off the bottom there, it's gonna kind of work its way up, kind of choppy. So I give it a 3.
Okay. Riot blockchain. Obviously have analyzed this one to death. Everybody's interested in it. All right, it's currently in a downtrend, and that is a dominant trend. And you can see it is in a wedge. You know, there was some initial excitement for crypto and blockchain with the executive order earlier this week, and then that petered out really, really fast. So it's compressing into this, and until it breaks, I'm not sure what it's going to do. We do have a very hard floor here, so shorting into that is a little sketchy. If this breaks to the upside, gets above the cloud, there could be an interesting long coming, but that's down the road. Currently, it's a short trade, and I ain't taking it. So the clarity, super clear, it's 4. The trend is a 1 because it's extended and over. Obstacles are a 1 because this wedge is a huge obstacle, and the reward to risk is a 1. My overall is a 1.
1 because I think it's still in a downtrend for now.
1.
I
Grayson?
like it for a long, and I would definitely take it if it breaks out of that triangle, and you'd have a nice tight stop there. So I give that a 3, and I'd put it on a watch list.
Cool. Okay, we're at number 19. Let's go to 25, and then we'll go ahead and show the score and have you guys vote, because you know we're just never going to make it all the way through. But 25 should give us a good, and that's based, you know, a weighted based on the number of times those were requested. Okay. The number 20, DAC. Danhouse. I forget what they do, but I've obviously analyzed it before. This is a nice trade. This is a long, and this is great. You know, it finished its correction. It made a high, really nice. Higher low, found great support. You know, and the trend turned it up back here, high, higher, low, new high. So that it isn't an uptrend. Yeah, a little negative momentum right now, but it's okay. We're still in the uptrend. We're above. We got great support underneath here. I actually like this one a lot. Here's our stop. Here's our entry. We do have a prior high, but I'm going to say, you know, that's just normal, working its way toward the target zone. Let's see what the earnings date, see if that's going to be a problem for us. It is DAC. May 9, no problem. All right, so this is a decent looking long, and it's traded 200,000 shares so far, but the daily average is above 500,000, so that's fine. All right, so that's a long trade. The clarity, it's 5, man. It's super clear. The trend is a 5. Obstacles, give it a 4 because we do have this prior high. Reward to risk is a 5. Overall, 4.
Okay, what was risk to reward? You didn't say that. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
5.
5,
great.
okay. I do think this is good, so I give it a 4 also.
Yeah, 4.
I like this trade. I would give it a 5.
And it's ready to go right now. There's nothing stopping you from pulling the trigger on that trade right now.
That's a shipping, marine shipping, and that whole industry has been doing very well
Yes.
lately.
It's great when you have a product or service that people cannot get enough of, right? Good situation to be in. Lulu. So pandemic favorite that had a little trouble. Current impulsive move is this big move down. Lost half its value, almost. And that downtrend looks like it could be starting to end, right? Really strong down, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. From here, right? It has not put in a low and it's found some support. It looks like it could be, you know, this downtrend could be running out of steam. You see the momentum, the divergence in it. So, you know, technically it's a short, but I would not short it right into this floor. And I think that's going to end, and you know, the next trend will be up down the road. So Lululemon, the clarity is 4, super clear. The trend is a 1 because it is mature and ending. Obstacles is a 1 because it's got a huge floor that it has hit 1, 2, 3 times. Reward to risk is a 1, and my overall is a 1. Not trading it at this time.
I think it's too late in the short and not ready for the long.
Yeah, I agree with Eva. So yeah, 1 for short, but it's a good watch list candidate.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. 1.
And they recently announced that they're starting to make sneakers, and apparently the sneaker market for women is very underserved because most of the sneaker manufacturers just take men's shoes and downsize them. So they're saying, the analysts were saying that there's a huge market that they can tap into. So,
And I think people are a little weary of the incumbents. So someone that comes out with a new, fresh deal could do well if they execute well.
yes.
I bet their shoes will be too tight and for small feet.
Like their pants. All right. Crestwood Equity Partners LP. You always want to be careful of these if you trade the shares. There can be on some of these LPs tax headaches, extra papers to file. So where did that trend start? We're going to call it here. That was a 4 and it's heading up into 5. Super clear. All right. So the clarity on this is excellent. It's 5. It's a classic. It's perfect, right? In terms of big move up, perfect correction, coming out of the correction into the next impulsive wave up. That's a 5. The trend is a 5. Couldn't be clearer. Obstacles, you gotta, this prior high, that's a really sharp pivot. And let's look CEQ earnings. Unknown, let's try it in Yahoo, CEQ. Seriously? CEQP, that's why it's not coming up. Yahoo says April 25th to the 29th, so that's fine. Okay. So I said the clarity was a 5, the trend was a 5, obstacles, make it a 4. That is a big pivot, but you know, this is a really strong trend, should get through it. Reward to risk is going to be awesome, right? Your stop can be here. Your entry is going to be at current price, and your target is going to be 3 or 4 times the risk, because you've got this target zone, right? Ratio this to this, about 4. My only caveat would be, so I'm a 4 in terms of overall score. I would only trade it with options. Buying the shares on these LPs, you got to, you know, it's a hassle. I typically trade options anyway, so I would check the liquidity on it is at the low end of our threshold, so we'd have to make sure there's a deep option market. But in terms of chart presentation, that's overall 4 for me.
I'm a 4.
4, and for those who are retirees looking for income, it does pay an 8% dividend.
Nice.
Yeah, I would give that a 4.
All right. And that was number 22. Here comes number 23. AES. All right, this one it's going to get a super low. It's a super clear chart. It's a nice chart, and it's going to get a super low score because we're still in a downtrend, and the downtrend is over. It made it into the retracement zone. It just has not turned yet. We got a little fly speck of green here, but the cloud's still red. And you don't really have a meaningful high, higher, low, new high. So it's in a downtrend. This would be excellent to watch for a long soon. High, higher, low, new high, especially if it breaks the 200, because the target's going to be huge. Target's way up there, right? But it's in a downtrend. Uptrend's not proven, hasn't started. So in terms of evaluating it for a short, clarity's a 4, trend is a 1, obstacle 1, reward to risk 1, overall score 1.
1.
1.
1.
And when it turns and proves an uptrend, that's going to be a 5. It's worth watching for a 5 for a long. Oxy. All right. In about half a second, I decided not to trade this because you're chasing a very, very mature trend, right? Obviously, it's a petroleum, right? Price of oil has gone up 3 or 4x, right? Beautiful. Too late. That is a mature trend, and I just don't chase those. You can't establish a target, and they will correct. They always correct. At some point, don't know when. So no reason to put capital out into the vast unknown. Why don't we do it on things we know about? So clarity is a 4, super clear what's going on. Trend is a 1. It is a mature trend. Obstacle, you know, give it a 3. There's not really any clear. There's a prior high. So that's a ways away. 3. Reward to risk is a 1, overall 1. You know, I do not chase trends like that.
1, because
So-
you'd be chasing for me.
1.
Yes, 1.
Right. And number 25. Final, Wells Fargo. Wonder if Wells Fargo finally has all the skeletons out of the closet. They've had a rough couple years. All right, nice trend up, and it is starting to correct. Very clear. Low, lower high, new low, negative cloud, negative momentum, below the 200-day moving average. Went down below it, hit it, and is reversing a little bit. So this is a short, obviously. And this level, for this take a regression through those points, is a pretty strong support. So I don't think you want to short into that. I'm not. All right, and your stop, you know, here's today's price. You could put a stop at the top of the gap right there. So you got reward to risk, but these obstacles are a huge problem for me. I'm not going to short into a hard support area. Earnings. April 15th, month away. All right, so the clarity is a 4. The trend is a 3 because it's almost over. Obstacles are a 1. Reward to risk is a 2. Overall 1. Not going to short into that hard neck.
1.
1.
Yeah, 1.
And it definitely would not take it long here.
Okay, Dean, I need to just have a few seconds to enter everything. So if you wanted to look at some stragglers.
Okay, so what's going to happen now? We analyzed and scored 25 symbols, which is pretty cool. And so Eva's putting them into a SurveyMonkey form. You're going to get a link and you guys are going to vote on them. And we'll come up with our top 5 based on the scorecard.
Now, Dean, originally we had said to put more details, but I'm just putting the symbol and the score because we have so many to get in. I don't want to take too much time.
That is a direction, symbol, direction, score.
Symbol, direction. Oh,
And while people are voting, you can share the scorecard because you'll have that up in front of you, right?
yeah, I wasn't putting the direction. I got to go back. Sorry. All right.
The directions in this. Well, if we have the scorecard, you don't need to. Just keep doing.
Okay. All right.
Symbol and
Just trying
score, and we'll just look
Okay.
at the scorecard.
Okay.
Don't want to make more work for you.
Well, just want to make sure we're efficient for the group.
Yeah. In fact, I should have access
The scorecard. Yeah.
to the scorecard unless it's saved in your folder. Nope. You saved it. You own it.
All
I
right.
got the blank one here that we created.
Well, I'll share my screen. I'm getting there. I'm at Mara.
Yeah, I think next time to go faster, we could, when we see a chart like Oxy, we could just say pass or something. And if everybody, all the panelists agree, we just like skip it. I think in some of these charts, if there's no point, we know we're not going to chase it. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Greg's making some good comments here. He says limiting to 2025 should good balance between breadth and time. He said may consider finalizing it prior to the day and distributing it to panelists. We could do that and it would be more efficient in the session, but I think the panelists' commentary has value for you guys to hear, right? More in addition to just the raw score. So that's a balance there as well.
Yeah, we're trying to feel it out.
yeah,
Also, if I know the top, the 25 we're going to look at in advance, I can already have them loaded and just put the scores in, which would save it a lot of time too for
Yeah.
this next part right now. So this
Yeah.
was an experiment, and
yeah.
we were
And I
going to
think
just
we
have
could-
10
sorry,
to
go ahead.
begin with. Sorry, we were only going to have 10 to begin with. So
Oh, yeah.
this is more than we planned.
But the response was awesome. It sounds like for the attendees, you guys were pretty interested. You submitted a lot of candidates, and sorry we couldn't get through them all, but that's just not practical. And Rick says he likes hearing the comments. Cool.
All right. I just got the last one in. Let me save it. I'm going to give everyone the link. And then I'm going to share the screen with the scorecard. You're going to, it just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pick your top 3 that you like and analyze results.
I think you can vote on all of them in the grid, right?
Yeah, you can vote on all of them. If you want to vote on all of them, you can.
You can, just rate them from 1 to 5, and we'll get a aggregate score for the top 5.
All right, I'm entering there you go. There's the link to SurveyMonkey. And let me unhide and open this up and try to make it so you can see everything. Problem is, you can't see all the symbols, and I don't think I can squish it down anyway, but you can see most of them.
Yeah, you can scroll, but sort on the top ones. I think that's what people want to see, the top scores anyway. Right.
All right, it wasn't working for me, but I'm gonna share. So let me.
Remember, you have to sort on the rows. We played with that yesterday.
I know. It just, where's this? Sort, advance. And we're doing the
Do the
column M,
header row.
yeah. And we
Uh,
want C,
Sort by, you got to choose the title.
oh,
Yeah, see,
It
here,
ha-
cancel this.
yeah, sorry about that. It just,
Select all the rows starting with the header with row 3 over on the left.
oh, that's what I was doing wrong. Okay, sorry. Now we can do it. My apologies. So data, sort range, advance.
Header row.
And total score, where is it? There we go. We want to go high to low. Okay, there we go. My apologies.
You got it.
All right. So you'll see the top ones. I tried to get comments along the way in.
Yeah, so Randy's asking a question. So you can vote on all of them, Randy, and just rate them 1 to 5. And then based on a weighted score from all of you, we'll have our top 5.
Yeah, if you just want to go in and vote on the ones you like, you don't have to really do the ones you don't like to save some time.
Right, because they'll just get no weighting at all. So. And like I said, we're learning this. We'll get this more streamlined.
Okay, we only have 6 at the moment, so come on.
Yeah, 26 participants. Bill, yeah, we're gonna send the scorecard out, the full scorecard, and the top 5, as well as a recording.
While we're waiting for people to score, did you want the top pick from each of us?
Man, I totally forgot that up front. and we had I wanted to have those scored as well. Big miss. So we'll include those in the sheet, the panelist picks. Okay. So while you guys are voting, I'm going to take the screen back from Eva and I'm going to walk through the panelist picks.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you I got kind of rattled because Zoom wouldn't start, and that, that happens.
Yeah. Dean and I were like, oh, we can't get on.
So my top pick is Plug Long. It's a super cool company. They make hydrogen cells, and it has had a big correction, and it has turned. It just turned up, high, low, new high. It's down today. Doesn't bother me. It has big moves. We do have the 200 coming up, but we had a nice price target on this. And all alternative energy is hot right now, and this is a cool company. It's just the beginning of this trend. And so I think we got a target up here right around 32 from 22. That's $10. That's a 30% move. I think it'll get through the 200. It doesn't seem to have issues with, in fact, the 200 is invisible to it. It's above the cloud. It's above the 50, positive momentum, and it looks awesome. So that's my pick, is Plug Long.
Okay, do you want mine? You want
Yes,
to put it up, or do you want me to share my screen?
I'll do it.
Okay. I like CrowdWD. CRWD. It does have a obstacle it's approaching, but I feel it has the momentum. It'll break through and get out of the channel it's been in to have a nice move up to a wave 5.
Yeah, and the wave 5 target on this is going to be big. Prior high, we'll call that the target at 299. So yeah, and it's got high or low. It's above the cloud. The cloud hasn't turned, so you're taking a chance, but you like it long, right?
Yep. I mean, probably would wait, be a little conservative, wait to have it pop to a new high, but it's almost there. So that's why.
Okay. Shiv, what do you got?
I have two actually, so I couldn't decide. So one is PKG, Packaging Corporation of America. So we took another packaging company recently. I think it was WRK or what, Westrock. So this one looks to be breaking out. It's been channeling for a while, looks to be breaking out. So it's a little unusual, but.
Let me see something. PKG.
And then the other one is CNI, which is Canadian National Railway. CNI.
So just on this one, does this concern you at all? The ceiling?
A little bit, but I think it's it's had a mini consolidation there, and so I'm thinking that if it breaks out, it could go. But yeah, I'd like to see a little more momentum still. I think.
Okay. And what was the second one?
CNI.
T?
C as in Canada. CNI. Yes.
Canadian National Railway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you look shorter term, so you're probably doing this as your 3.
Yes. Yeah.
And and then it's going to give us a target.
Now that I see it on your charting platform, they look so different on Thinkorswim. But yeah, so I think CNI will be my pick, and we can skip package.
Okay. I mean, it's clearly starting wave 5. It's got a good target. Pretty clear. I like it.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And Eva, it made it through the gap.
Yes, it did.
And it was an up gap anyway. So
Yeah. We would have, well, there was, the one there on the way down. It had a gap to the downside. It broke through. So that's good.
that's a nice one, Chip. And are you capturing these for the sheet?
I'm writing the names, but not everything else. Sorry. Well,
Grayson, what do you like?
Well, I kind of have an unusual one. It's XL and it's at the bottom. I was trying to pick a chart that did not look like the S&P. It's electric truck conversion company, and it just came up above the 50.
Sure did.
And if you look at the PTF on the weekly, that whole downtrend is still green.
Okay.
So that has a 70% chance still of coming up. I don't know if it'd make it to the top, but at least to the 200.
Yeah, I mean, it has changed trend. It has flipped the cloud, but it flipped the momentum. We do have high, higher, low, new high. And percentage-wise, these are huge moves. They look small, but on a $2 stock, right? Those are big moves. It's added 70 cents to a $1.50 stock. That's percentage-wise, it's huge. And it's above the 50. It found support. So this is actually a super interesting trade. And you could probably, here's an area of consolidation right around the 200. As it comes up, the 200 is going to flatten. So this is probably your target. That's only 570. So it's only going to double from here. I like it. And at that price, you could probably just trade shares. I don't know if they have.
Yeah, but there was even options, believe it or not, out to May.
And you can run a pretty tight stop right there.
Yeah,
so that's an excellent trade. So we got to look at that Monday.
yeah, definitely. So what I'm going to do is take back the screen so everyone can see. I know we've been on longer. So everyone can see our results.
Okay.
So DAC is the top pick of the group, 4.15. Costco next, 3.77. CEQP at 3.6. RTX, 3.33. DQ, 3.13. Microsoft, 3.09. Amazon, 2.88. Apple, 2.67.
We got our
Yeah,
top
I
five.
was gonna stop. I was like, I was gonna do 10, but I didn't write which one was number 10. But the top 5, DAC, Costco, CEQP, RTX, and DQ.
Okay, which is not Dairy Queen, no deli bars.
Hmm.
All right, we will publish these results. It took us an hour and a half. We did 25, first time through. We'll figure out how to streamline it a little bit, but hey, hopefully you guys, looks like pretty much everybody hung in here till the end, so that's awesome. So what do you guys think? Was this a cool format? Do you like it? Should we do it again? Okay, getting positive comments so far.
Oh yeah, everything looks good.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Wow. Really positive. Okay, so we will publish the recording and the consolidated results, and then we'll figure out, when to do it again and any refinements to the process. Okay, and as a special bonus, we might just, in a week or two, come back to our top 5 and see how Crowdsource PLUS did at picking winning trades. That'll be super important, won't it? Super interesting.
It'll also be interesting to get feedback. Seeing how many of you actually decided you liked the trades and took them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for showing up and participating and for your feedback here. Very, very encouraging. Trade safe, keep your winners big, losers small. Have a great weekend. And for those of you who are in the trading room part of the service, we'll see you Monday morning. For those of you who aren't, well, you should be. You go to the homepage and sign up. And Sergio, we will look it forward in the trading room. All right, man. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.